Hello everyone, Amy Wilbanks here with Textile Fabric Consultants. In this video, we will be learning about textile serviceability, which covers aesthetics, durability, comfort, care, and appearance retention. Understanding these properties will allow you to make informed decisions when selecting textiles for end uses. First, let's talk about aesthetics. Aesthetics refers to the way touch and visual appearance affect fiber perception, and that can be broken down into the following properties: luster, drape, texture, and hand. Luster defines the reflectivity of a fabric or fiber. On the screen, you can see an example of a dull or matte fabric on the left and a bright or lustrous fabric on the right. Fibers can lie in between as well, and will be referred to as medium luster, semi-dull, etc. The luster of a fiber in fabric form can be changed depending on yarn and fabric structure, as well as the finishing method. Drape defines how a fabric lays over a three-dimensional object, such as a mannequin or a piece of furniture. This can be affected by fiber choice. However, yarn and fabric structure are the main determining factors of a fabric's drape. Texture describes the surface of a fabric on the basis of smoothness and roughness. It can be identified by either touch or sight. Texture is affected by fiber type, yarn selection, and fabric structure. Due to variations in their structure, natural fibers tend to add more texture to fabrics than manufactured fibers. However, yarns created from manufactured fibers can be manipulated in many ways to alter the texture of a fabric. Hand simply describes how a textile feels against the skin. Suitability for end uses can be determined by instrument measures or by rubbing the fabric between your thumb and index finger. Terms used to describe hand include warm or cool, bulky or thin, and slick or soft. Durability refers to a fiber's ability to withstand the stresses of its end use for an adequate length of time. It can be determined by the following properties: abrasion resistance, strength, and elongation. Abrasion resistance defines a textile's ability to withstand rubbing during use. This is tested by rubbing a fabric against a surface and observing any changes or damage. For example, foot traffic on a rug can cause the yarns to flatten and show signs of wear. Edge abrasion occurs when a folded edge, such as the hem of a pair of pants, drags the ground. Flex abrasion occurs from repeated moving and bending of the textile, such as the wear that is shown where shoelaces are laced in the shoe. When fibers of differing abrasion resistances are used together in one fabric, wear can result in pilling. This is where small pieces of the lower resistance fiber break off and form balls of fiber stuck to the fabric surface. Pilling is quite common on sweaters and can cause the garment to appear old and worn after only a few uses. Strength describes the fiber's ability to withstand stress. Tenacity describes the fiber's tensile strength or its ability to withstand pulling forces. This is tested by clamping a fiber at both ends and pulling it until failure. Fiber tenacity can vary based on a number of factors, including if the fiber is wet when being tested. Strength is also used to describe resistance against tearing or tearing strength, and rupturing or rupturing strength. Elongation defines how much a fiber can be stretched before it breaks. To measure this, the fiber is pulled at both ends as in the tenacity test, and the final length before failure is compared to the original resting length. Elongation should be thought of in relation to elasticity. The comfort of a fabric when worn is highly important, but also highly variable, depending upon conditions and preferences. Characteristics such as absorbency and thermal retention can be used to determine a fabric's comfortability level. Absorbency describes the ability of a fiber to take in moisture from both your body and environment. Hydrophilic fibers readily absorb moisture. Hydrophobic fibers absorb very little to no moisture and have a strong attraction for oil. For example, water splatters on a polyester shirt worn while cooking would dry quickly because the water would not be absorbed, but grease splatters would be absorbed and hard to remove. Wicking specifically relates to a fiber's ability to carry water across its surface. Fibers that wick well are not very absorbent and are popular for activewear. Thermal retention defines a fiber's ability to retain or hold in heat. Fabrics with a low thermal retention are favorable for warm weather, whereas high thermal retention values are needed to make warm winter clothes. Thermal conductivity is the opposite of thermal retention, describing a fabric's ability to transfer heat. Cotton, for example, has a high thermal conductivity, meaning it draws heat away from the body and makes for ideal summer wear. Next, we will discuss textile care, which details how to properly care for a textile item and maximize its effective lifespan. This is one of the most important aspects of serviceability, with many textbooks, including Textiles, spending an entire chapter on it. Knowing recommended care practices for various fiber types is crucial knowledge for any professional in the textile industry. Fiber content and care instructions can usually be found on a label thanks to the Textile Fiber Products Identification Act and Care Labeling Regulation, which mandates this information be provided. This is usually in the form of a sewn tag. However, it can also be on temporary tags, making it necessary to know what to do in their absence. Care can be broken down into 3 categories: use or wear, washing, and storing. In the use and wear of a textile item, it is important to know its weaknesses that can be encountered in everyday life. For example, cotton can be damaged by acids. Knowing this, you can be careful to avoid spills, such as fruit juice, and secondly, you will know to act quickly in the case of such a spill to salvage your garment or item. It is important to follow the recommended care instructions provided in the textile product. Examining items for stains before cleaning and following the cleaning instructions will help extend the life of the item. Storage of items is also important. When storing an item, it should be clean, covered, and dry. Storing an item in a humid or damp environment can lead to mildew, mold, and other problems that can permanently damage textile products. Covering or boxing an item can prevent damage from insects and other wildlife, as well as damage caused by sun exposure. Appearance retention defines how a fiber retains its original appearance throughout its lifespan. Some properties used for this include resiliency, dimensional stability, and elasticity. Resiliency is used to describe a fabric's ability to withstand bending, twisting, or crushing without permanent loss of shape. It is also very dependent upon fiber choice. A simple way to test this is to ball the fabric in your fist and see how it responds. Fabrics that bounce back and are hard to wrinkle have high resiliency values. A low resiliency fabric would stay crumpled in your hand and be visibly wrinkled when flattened. Dimensional stability measures how stable a fabric's size and shape are against normal use, such as wearing and washing it. This is determined by taking measurements of a fabric after washing and comparing that to the original dimensions. High dimensional stability means a textile that retains its size and shape throughout its entire lifespan. Elasticity or elastic recovery describes a fiber's ability to withstand elongation without permanent changes in dimension. This is measured as a percentage of recovery, meaning high elasticity fibers will have a 100% recovery. Low elasticity fibers will be permanently deformed and represent a lower percentage. Creep refers to a slow recovery from elongation, such as a pair of jeans being slightly tighter in the morning than when you took them off the night before. Elasticity can also change over the lifespan of a textile, with older examples being stiff and having lower recovery values. Thank you for watching. That covers the aspects of serviceability. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos.